This is Peter, and you're listening to the Night Party Podcast. I hope you enjoy it, because I don't.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Night Party Podcast, where we leave it all on the cutting room floor. Excuse me. Feeling a little bit under the weather today, but that's all right, because here to pick up some of the slack, I have my part-time co-host, Tony S. Morgan, everybody.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Now, I would just want to let this be known. He had nothing to do with the Fallout episode, so if any Fallout comes, you send your hate mail to me, and that's nightpartypod@yahoo.com, because I keep it old school. Just saying, trying to keep him out of trouble, you know?
I appreciate that.
As we always say on the show, be kind, rewind, don't cancel me, bro. Right? We're trying to spread peace out there. Yeah. So anyway, good to have you back on, and it's kind of funny, I was thinking about this, we haven't done a Freddy movie, and we were talking about it last fortnight about, you know, it's been over 50 hours, or 50 episodes, well, more than 50 hours, and we still haven't touched on Fred Krueger, who is arguably one of my favorite slasher villains, not necessarily my favorite slasher movies, because sometimes the movies are kind of like, you want to see more Freddy, you know, but yeah, I mean, I would put him definitely top 3. I'd put him under Michael and just above Jason.
I agree with that, yeah.
You know, because, you know, the Jason movies are, there's like about 2 or 3 of them that I really like, and the ones I really like about him, only one of them is really serious, and that's number 2. The other ones I like are like Jason X, which is it's a phenomenal movie, right? But it is it's not that, you know, it's not like scary.
No, it's definitely more comical.
Where the Freddy movies always go in aughts, right? So 1 is great, 3 is great, 5 is great, 7 is great, and 8 is great. 8 being Freddy vs. Jason. Okay. And 7 being Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Which is also fabulous. Did you know that only 3 movies are canon according to Wes Craven?
Really?
1, 3, and New Nightmare. He says all the other ones are just bad dreams.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is hilarious. I mean, you've all right, first off, hold on. Let's talk about what movie we're doing. We are doing Dream Warriors! Dude, how badass is this song, though? I mean, Dawkins.
I love that era of songs for movies, sort of thing. Yeah.
I think the last time that was done was Go Ninja Go by Vanilla Ice.
You might be right on that one.
Because I don't remember. Oh, no, The Addams Family. Oh, that was a little bit before The Addams Family.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway. Yeah. All right, it's enough of that for now. we can't blow our load here. So we're doing the Dream Warriors. This is the movie that got me into Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
I saw it, I think, 91 or 92, and it was on, I think my stepbrother rented it. Mm-hmm. And I just thought the concept of they're not defenseless, that they can actually fight back with their kind of like persona. I thought that was really cool.
I did like the fact that, they had like dream abilities that they had to discover.
Yeah, like the kid in the wheelchair, like he was actually up to stand. He was D&D nerd, so he gets
he becomes a master wizard.
Exactly. So I really thought that was pretty cool. And everyone else too. All the characters in here are pretty fleshed out. It's not just random like, Susie died. You know, they
give you a bit of backstory on everybody.
So it makes you care about them. Mm-hmm. Also, I really like the fact that this takes place in an asylum, so it makes it kind of even creepier. Like they're stuck. You know, kind of like a Sarah Connor in Terminator 2, where she's fucked, she's trapped. You know, so we have to see her escape. And these are just kids, and they have no Terminator to save them, so they can't escape. You know, they're stuck, and they're eventually going to go to sleep. And plus, they're all troubled kids anyway.
Yeah.
And it kind of adds to that. And also, this is the first movie that introduces Hypnosil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember, we'll get into the back and forth of the movie, front to back. But yeah, Hypnosil will later be used in, I want to say it's in number 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact it's in Freddy vs. Jason.
It is, yeah, for sure.
Remember, I'll handle this bitch. When the kids got it, it's a fucking great scene. Okay, so let's get into it. I have some fun facts on this movie.
Ooh, fun facts.
Everyone loves fun facts, right? Okay, so first, let's see. Hey, I'm looking.
Searching on a 1978 computer here.
So number 2 was not canon whatsoever. Number 2, by the way, is admittedly by the director, the gayest movie ever written and made.
No.
Yes, it is about, he even said it because he was dealing with his own sexuality. It's about coming out.
Okay.
So, and obviously Freddy is alive and in the real world in this movie, and it's absolutely terrible. The greatest thing about it is its poster. The movie poster is fucking awesome. Oh, and I wanted to talk about that. Did you ever notice that all the Friday the 13th movies, the ones that are illustrated posters, 1, 2, and 3, are fucking fabulous?
Yeah.
And I mean, they give Star Wars, may the 4th be with you, a run for its money on how good the art is in those ones. And even later on, they had pretty cool posters like Wes Craven's New Nightmare has a great movie
That
photo.
one's awesome. Yeah.
And but then like, the Dream Child's pretty cheesy and I haven't seen those movies in forever, but I got the best deal ever. I got all 8 movies on DVD for $17.
That's pretty dope.
From Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there, but it's called the Nightmare Collection. So if you're one of the ones like me that still has more than one, I have a DVD player in every room. But it's not odd. If you still have a DVD player, I would jump on that because I think there was only a few left. So
okay,
and this is a direct sequel to number 1. Number 2 is not canon whatsoever, and it's also the return of Nancy. So this makes a lot of sense,
right?
Yeah. Let's see. The Freddy snake was originally pink, but they changed it because it looked too much like a cock.
That was a very wise decision on their part.
Well, the way they made it look, it looked even scary with the green and black kind of like tree bark looking skin.
Right.
And it's got such an evil face. I put it on our Instagram for those to see. I'm at Instagram at Zach Evergreen, ZACH, and you could follow us because I always post up what episodes are coming next and stuff. So it's a pretty good follow if you like the show. And furthermore, the original cover was going to be Kirsten being eaten by the snake. And then you see Freddy kind of in the foreground. But she kind of looked like she was enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, that's awkward.
So it was banned.
Yeah.
But they still use it in Thailand.
Well,
it's Thailand. Kind of self-explanatory on that one, right? But if you look at actually the poster, beautifully drawn as it is, it has nothing to do with the movie.
No.
Think about it. The dude with the mace, who's that supposed to be? He's got a fucking morning star, and
isn't that the Wizard Master?
Well, he looks pretty big for that guy. And also, Taryn, I think her name is. I forgot her name. It's in my notes. But
Taryn.
She has white hair and daggers on the movie poster, which she clearly.
So they totally did like a D&D mock-up.
Yeah.
Of the characters.
Exactly.
Sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah, and then
she has 1980s daggers, i.e., like a switchblade.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, and then also Nancy is wearing a white nightgown, which she doesn't wear. No. She's clearly younger, and she has white hair in it. And it's totally off.
Okay.
But it's still fucking wonderful. It seems like that guy's art was just, I think maybe he was working on something else and he goes, fuck it, I'll just throw Freddy's face in it. Like that way I don't have to start all over. Okay, so let's see. Chuck Russell, this is his first movie he directing, but he went on to do bigger things. And actually, when I heard about what movies these are, I looked it up and I'm like, oh, and that makes total sense. He did The Blob, the remake,
nice, yeah, okay.
and he did The Mask.
Oh, he okay.
And he also, get ready for this, worked on the movie Dreamscape the next year. That's a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in forever. That should be on our list. We have too much stuff on the list, but that should be on there. Most definitely. Let's see. What else? Oh, here goes the funnest fact ever. Actually, I'm going to save this one for last. Okay. This movie was banned in Queensland, Australia. Any guesses why?
I have zero guesses why.
The drug reference.
Oh, are they like super hard against that sort of thing?
But the funny thing is that this was an anti-drug reference.
It was.
In fact,
it totally was.
People came up to the, some of the cast in comic book conventions and said, like, "Thank you, you helped me kick or stay away from drugs."
Nice.
Like, this was better than the DARE program for a lot of kids.
Yeah, DARE was not good at all.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. It just told me how much the street cost of pot and coke was.
Yeah, right.
And what it looked like, and how not to get bad and get stomped on, right? Okay, here goes the coolest fucking fact. This was being filmed at the same lot as Evil Dead 2.
Nice.
Now, it was probably Sam Raimi. He'll never admit to it, or it could have been Bruce Campbell. But someone, one of those two, stole the Freddy glove.
Yeah, buddy.
Right? And they put it in the woodshed where Ash gets his chainsaw arm.
There's like a brief moment where you can see it, isn't there?
Yeah. So that's like a little Easter egg. Now, you have to look very close to catch it.
Right.
But so, and then it was magically returned, but apparently like one of the key grips or Best Boys or whatever was like, "Hey, wait a minute. That looks familiar."
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. It makes you think. Do you think that Ash was going to wear the glove at some point?
And that would have been kind of cool.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Not as cool as the chainsaw arm in retrospect.
It would have been cool to start with the finger blades and then go to chainsaw.
Or maybe as a joke, when he cuts off his hand, have it wear the finger blades.
Yeah.
That would have been cool too. And why this is also such a fun fact is in Jason Goes to Hell, they have the Necronomicon and the dagger from Evil Dead 2.
Oh, okay.
Now, also in Freddy vs. Jason, they're in the same canon too. So this means, and there was always rumors there was going to be Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. That was, or Ash versus Jason, and then Ash versus Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, Jesus.
Because in also Freddy's dead. In Jason Goes to Hell, you see the glove come up and grab the mask and pull it down.
Right.
And that was like, that got our dick so hard for such a long time for Freddy vs. Jason, which, by the way, does not disappoint.
It does not.
It does not.
It's a great one.
It's not a horror. It's a horror movie. It's a slasher movie and a wrestling match put together.
Kind of, yeah.
It's a great fucking movie, though. Let's see. This got 72% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
That's solid.
It was very solid. What would you give it?
I would say, probably about a 75.
75. I'm getting it at 82 just because 82, you got to bump it up for Freddy. The creative deaths are so cool.
Very much so, yeah.
And the story's actually not cheesy. It's good. There's some cheesy parts to it, but...
Well, you're going to have that in any horror kind of thing going on anyways.
And also, it has some great moments. Like, it has arguably the two best Freddy kills. Everyone says it's the two. They're not my fit. One of them is. And it's because the cheesy line. So, anyway, we're going to watch the trailer in just a second. But so any other thoughts? Do you have any fun facts about this?
No, I'm ready to dive right in, baby.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go through the trailer right now as soon as it loads up, and we will watch with our minds.
Ooh.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Freddy's just around the corner.
I literally jumped.
That scared the crap out of you.
I know it did. You know what's funny? I knew that was coming too. But I just, you know what really gets you? It's the key change in that song. You know how like how it goes like down a minor step, down a minor, and it's like, you're like, dude. That was actually the teaser trailer.
Okay.
I'm sure it made everybody in the theater jump. It had to have. I mean,
just made you jump.
Fuck
so
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And I know I got goosey pimples right now. It's the first time I've ever been scared of my own podcast. I think I'll skip this one when I do the re-listens, but you never know. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? The Dream Warriors, 1986's classic? Yeah, cult classic?
Cult classic.
Cult classic.
I'll give a cult classic.
All right, I will too. Okay, so we see this young girl, and she's making a papier-mâché house. Now, this house is actually that trailer. It just shows her making it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the beginning in the movie in the way, right? And she's, doing the papier-mâché and everything else. And then we find out that her name is Karen, right? And
not that kind.
No. And then sometimes they call her Kieran, too, which is funny. Mm-hmm. Now, while she's making this thing, she's eating coffee with a spoon.
She's eating it with a spoon, but she washes it down with some refreshing
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, yeah.
Which is the only advertisement in this movie. Because we didn't do any this time. But that's okay. This episode is sponsored by Pot is Killing Me and Caps and Cork. Anyway, so that's all I want to do right now. We'll get into it later when we're high. My live reads are always funnier with a little bit of legal devil's lettuce, right? So, now, a fun fact about this is apparently when Peter Steele was trying to quit cocaine, he would actually eat Folgers Crystals with a spoon.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Disgusting, I know.
Yeah.
And wash it down with red wine.
Oh.
I know. There's a lot of hints of coffee in this red. So then her mom comes home, right? Mm-hmm. And then there is this... There's a funny thing where the dad's like, or not the dad, but
the date
is like, where's the bourbon? And this is foreshadowing, right? And then she goes back to sleep, and she dreams of these jump rope girls, and actually the like this evil kid on a bicycle, and and it's set in the one of the living rooms of this house. Mm-hmm. And if you are familiar with this house, you'll notice it is the house with the red door from the first movie. This was Nancy's house. Now it's all dilapidated and everything else like that.
Now, I don't remember, were there the jump rope kids and the little, bicycle kids in, the first movie? Or was this the first movie that had that?
I'm almost 100% that the jump rope girls were in the first one. Now, the bicycle kid, I'm not sure. But the jump rope girls definitely were.
Yeah,
because I remember that's, the first dream nightmare in the first one.
Because that's kind of like a long-running theme in the Freddy movies.
Yeah, so anyway, Kirsten follows this girl, right? And it's looks like just like a little girl, and she's lost within the house, and Kirsten picks her up and tries to get out of this house because clearly it's something's evil. You see a little kid in a bicycle. It's bad news.
Yeah.
So by trying to escape, she gets lost and she goes into the boiler room. Now, synonymous with Freddy is this boiler room because that's apparently where he would torture the children and such. And
you're right.
That's also where the kids burn him down. Now, the boiler room does not exist in this house in the movie, but, it's a dream, so doors open to other places and shit like that, right? And so this is where... we hear Freddy go, Freddy's home, you know, and it's pretty creepy. And she carries out the girl, and then, she looks at the girl that she's carrying out, and now it's like a skeleton.
Super creepy.
Super creepy, right? And, let's see. Then she wakes up, and when she wakes up, she's all freaking out, right? And she turns on the faucet, to splash water in her face.
Yeah.
But they become Freddy's needle fingers or his claws.
Right, it grabs onto her.
And it slits her wrist in a way where it looks like she's trying to commit suicide.
Well, it's the weird thing because when her mom busts in on her and it shows her, it looks like she has a razor in the other hand. So now you don't know, was it Freddy or was she actually just hallucinating while she was cutting her wrist?
Right. And then Yeah, I even have that here. She does have a razor, so it appears that she tried to commit, but I mean, it's obviously Freddy's doing, but still.
Still, yeah.
It's a bad look.
That's one of my favorite thing about the Freddy movies is, like, you think they're out of the dream, and then something from the world comes alive and starts attacking them.
Yeah.
Awesome effects when they do that.
Yeah, like, one of my favorite ones is, again, I know I suck this movie's dong too much, but when you see one of the main characters' brother die in Freddy vs. Jason, and he's like in the pool, and then it goes like, I'm back, and you see it carved into him. Yeah. I love that part. We get something cool in this too.
We do.
We get something really cool in this, but that's later on down the road. So now she's inside the asylum for children, and we see, who do we see? Come on.
Oh yeah, we see Mr. Larry Fishburne.
Is there any relation to Lawrence Fishburne?
There is. There is.
Okay, it's like his little brother or something.
Well, it's really just him, actually.
Get the fuck out of here. So I guess Larry didn't work, so Lawrence did.
He went to Lawrence. It's definitely more adult sounding. That's for sure.
If you're not cool with your work relationship, shave your head and change your name. I guess I don't know. But clearly, it worked out for him. Because after I think he might have been Larry in Event Horizon too. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to rewatch.
Yeah.
Because I know his career really didn't take off till The Matrix.
No, he had some other stuff before that, but the
Cowboy
Matrix,
Curtis, really?
Cowboy Curtis. No, there was some black films and everything he was a part of that did really well.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit, I didn't even think of that because I know too. He was in Players Club and he was in another one, wasn't he? Players Club is actually underrated. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
And I think that was produced by Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyway, moving on. All right, so let's see. We see this is a medical and psycho ward for teens, right? And then we are introduced to a one Dr. Gordon, right? He's going to be our main protagonist besides Nancy. He's going to be like her, and he's got a lot to do with it too. In fact, the way they split up at the ending is really cool. I like it how there's an A and B plot going at all times. And in fact, we actually get some scenes with him that we do not get with her. So it seems like in this movie, as we go on, he's trying to stop Freddy, where she's trying to save the children.
Right.
And they work kind of in tandem. So anyway, Kirsten's throwing a fit. She's like inside this hospital and she's throwing shit around and she's very upset, and anyway, Gordon comes in, he tries to sedate her, it doesn't work, right? And she grabs a scalpel and she slashes at Fishburne, right? And then she starts going 5, 6, get your crucifix, and then Nancy walks in and goes 7, 8, better stay. Where'd you find out? Where'd you hear that?
Yeah, where'd you hear that song?
And she embraces her, and then they calm down, right?
Which was like a very creepy bonding moment.
Yes.
In like any movie, really.
Yes, very much so. Now we see Dr. Gordon and Nancy saying like, I get these kids, I understand because I used to be like them. And then she drops her purse and out comes rolling the Hypnocil. Now, for those who don't know about the Freddy lore, Hypnocil is a drug. It's experimental. They actually do experiments on children later on with it, but this is the first movie where we actually see it kind of mentioned and showcased. And then he hands it back to her, and then you see him on this old computer, like old computer, man.
It was state of the art at the time.
It looked like a fucking 20-pound calculator, right? And he's looking it up. The what is Hypnocil, and I guess this was internet, or this might have been the files they had in the hospital.
It was just like a database. There wasn't the internet yet.
Okay, so yeah, anyway, we now we see Fishburne. She shows Nancy around, right? So we get to meet some of our characters. First we meet Phil. He's a puppeteer, and his flaw is that he's a sleepwalker.
Right.
Okay. Then we have Concade, and they call him Cool Breeze because he's hot-headed and he likes to like throw fits and shit. And he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He gets put in the quiet
room. Exactly. Yeah. And then we have Joey the Mute, And for whatever reason, he has a teardrop under his eye, which we'll never see again throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, that was super weird at
Did
first.
that throw you too?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, where'd the teardrop go?
Yeah, he had a tattoo and now it's gone.
Maybe continuity error, though.
A little bit.
A little bit. So I don't know, maybe if he was just sad that day and wanted to express it. Joey, no feel well today.
It was magic marker. It wasn't, yeah.
I mean, you don't know. It's not like we saw him get work done. So anyway, Nancy acquires Kirsten's thing, and she sees the papier-mâché house, right? What's Dr. Gordon is using his version of Google, meanwhile. Now, Kirsten is, she keeps drawing the house, in like a daze, like half asleep. And, the tricycle with bloody tires rolls in.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, and then it melts.
Dude, that was freaky.
That was cool. See, again, we don't see Freddy for a while, in this movie. We just see some really creepy, like, mushroom-style shit happen.
Yeah.
But we don't see anything. It's menacing as fuck, but we don't really know to the extent of which this. I mean, of course, us, the watcher, know Freddy's coming and some kids are going to die, but still. Oh, right. So, anyway, this Nancy house is becoming a thing, right? Now, inside this house, right, we see like a roasted pig with a dagger in it, and the house is in shambles.
Yeah.
And then Freddy, now remember, Nancy is in here with Kirsten because she is going to fall asleep to try to save her, to pull her out, because they each have these powers in them, like we were talking about. Now, Kirsten's dream power is you could go in her dreams with her.
Yeah, like she can pull you into the dream world.
Yeah, or if she's willing, you could jump in even if she's not there.
Right.
So Nancy jumps in to try to save the day and figure out what the fuck's going on, right? Because she knows bad shit's going to happen. Now we see our Dune worm, our Freddy worm thing.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, this part is really cool. The effects in this are fan-fucking-tastic. It's a Muppet. It's a really good puppet, though. It's giant looking. The effect is really cool, and it tries to engulf her like a sleeping bag, kind of like nom, nom, nom.
Yeah.
Right? And then Nancy breaks a window or a mirror, I think.
Yeah.
And then she starts stabbing it. It's a really cool effect, though. And then they both awake, and then, of course, Nancy looks at her hand, and it's bloody.
Yeah, it's got a little cut on it.
Yeah. And this is obviously a reoccurring thing. If you die in the dream, you die in real life. And also, if you get injured, you get injured. And sometimes in later films, too, the kids will purposefully hurt themselves to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Freddy's Dead, remember, she uses the stove to, wake up by putting her hand over it? That part was evil. So, now they attend, their dream AA meeting.
Yeah.
It's the group therapy thing, right? And straight talk only, people. And we get to meet the rest of our teens, right? First, we have Will. Will is a D&D nerd that attempted suicide via jumping out a fucking window.
Yeah.
And now he is paralyzed.
Yeah, he did not successfully complete that task.
No, but he actually seems to have a head on him. We don't even see suicidal tendencies of him whatsoever.
He critically failed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right? And then we have Jennifer Berner, right? And she's a would-be actress. She's the most annoying character out of all of them.
I guess kind of. She's just weird in general, I think.
Yeah, she is creepy.
She likes to burn herself
with cigarettes. Yeah.
But take note of what cigarette made what burn mark.
Yeah, she goes, this was a Marlboro Light, this was a Marlboro Menthol, this was a Marlboro Ultralight. She says something just like that, And the doctor's knock that shit off, And it's funny, too, because she wants to smoke all the time, and they don't let her, and she gets mad. It's like, well, bitch, it's because you're burning herself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
But what's even more funny is, where's she getting these lighters? I mean, is the janitor giving it to her? And then we also have Tyrion White, who at first seems like the most annoying person, but then you actually come to like her character the most. She's getting sexually harassed by the janitor,
right?
And he's like, "Come on, baby, I'll I got the keys. We can go get high. I'll go get you some morphine."
I know it's super gross that this dude is hitting on this underage girl blatantly.
And also, dude, this was 86, so maybe it wasn't as bad.
No, I'm pretty sure that was always bad.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I'm just saying 40 years later, it does not it does not hold up well.
True.
But but it's not supposed to hold up well.
No.
You know, this guy's supposed to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what's sad too? I wish we'd see him get his comeuppance, but we don't.
That would be nice.
It would be nice.
See him pass out and like Freddy fucks with him or something.
Yeah, or maybe Kirsten dreams about him. He's like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" You know. That would have been awesome. And you know, I couldn't find too much about this movie. I did like some good research, but I didn't find much, so I didn't know if there was any deleted scenes. The only scene I know that was deleted was when the worm was flesh colored.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, let's see. So there's our characters right now. Now, after this meeting, you see Will and Joey, and they're playing D&D with Taryn. And I don't know if they're humoring him or maybe this is the only thing to do, whatever. But Taryn doesn't really seem to be like having a good time, and Joey doesn't talk.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he just like, you know, likes to watch or like moves his character around or what. But now Will is a very, very purist when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. He makes you actually say the spell. Yeah. Like by the power of Krentholian and so anyway, yeah, there you go. And then Lawrence Fishburne, who I think, what is his name? I wrote it down here. I think it's like Max.
Yeah.
So Max, you know, comes. Oh yeah. Also, too, did you notice there's a reference to Never Ending Story in this?
No, I missed that.
He goes, "Your horse is drowning in the bog."
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then, and she goes, "Oh, that's fine. I'll just get a new one in the morning." And clearly, she's playing a chaotic evil character.
Yeah, right.
But I just thought that was funny. It's like, did no one else get that reference but me? Maybe because I just did something on Atreyu not too long ago, but I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so Max puts them to bed, you know, and then why Max leaves, Joey and Will like agreed that they're going to go on like a dream watch.
Yeah,
you know, so if anything seems fucked up, like wake the other person up, right? And now Nancy and Gordon, they have Thai food together, and she warns him about Freddy and tries to prescribe hypnosil. She's like, we should get this on these kids. They're all in danger. You don't understand, right? And now Freddy enters one of Phil's puppets. So clearly Phil's asleep, right? Mm-hmm. And but they're not in the room, so they're not taking dream watch. I don't know who Phil bunks with. It might be...
It was with
Cool Breeze?
Cool Breeze.
Cool. So anyway, this scene is really cool where we see the puppet kind of come to life as Freddy. And I believe this is the first time we actually see him in like but we don't see him just, you know, with the hat and the stripes yet, right?
No, like you see him for like a split second with Kieran's dream
in the very beginning, yeah.
But this is like the first like full on like Freddy's here.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the puppet comes over and he cuts his wrists and makes Muppeteer strings out of Phil's like wrists and feet.
Yeah.
Dude, this scene is evil looking. It
is brutal.
Every time you see like him move and like the veins, it freaks me out, dude. Because I'm like veins, eyes, and teeth are what creep me out the most.
They did like a great job on the special effects.
The special effects, the only problem I have, the special effects are coming up later, and you'll agree with me. And the only reason why I have a problem with it is because on DVD you could totally see. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Let's see. So now Joey sees Phil like going to the top of like their belfry, you know, the very top of the roof on their Widow's Walk, and he's like slamming on the thing. But remember, he's mute. Now we don't know if he's mute by choice or what.
No, they said something happened to him,
and he's traumatized.
It was like PTSD. Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't know what it is, but they don't go that much in backstory with him. Or maybe they did and they just edited it, because this movie is a clean hour and a half.
It is, yeah.
So he breaks the window and starts, like, shouting, and then no one will... So then he runs down to the reception. Their nurse reception, and he starts, like, screaming on it, and he starts just, like, slamming on every door as he runs up to the top, and then they look out the window just in time to see him plummet to his death. But in the dream, we see the marionette things, and we see Freddy go, ha, 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 and he cuts the strings.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. As our first, like, real death, you know, it is a cool introduction. So now we got one down. Okay. And now we have our AA meeting again. our group therapy, and it's like, it was Moira, I tell you. Right? And Concade, he gets pissed off and he gets locked in solitary for trying to be like, you're not doing it, man. Like, you got to help us out more. What the fuck? You know, kind of thing. And anyway, Dr. Gordon now is demanding Hypnosil.
Yeah.
To like this witch of a woman who I guess is the head nurse. Because I think
she's kind of like the nurse Ratchet.
Yeah,
sort of
definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, most definitely. She is the nurse Ratchet. And he's, because I was a little confused. Well, he is actually the psychologist and psychotherapist.
Right.
So he wears two hats. He prescribes medication, but also he does therapy. Now, you would think he would have more say, but I guess because he is an outside entity.
Right.
You know, he's not, so maybe that's why. I don't know. But he's down on the totem pole compared to everyone.
Because I think he's just there for like a study. And like the nurse Ratchet, she's actually like the on-site doctor.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. So now, let's see. Oh yeah, so Max walks in, right? And he catches Jennifer watching television, past lights out, right? And then she kind of charms him. She's like, after tonight, I just don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And he's like, so what are you watching? She's like, it doesn't matter. I'm practicing because I'm going to be on TV one day.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of funny. She says that because she turns the channel, right? And let's see. Oh, yeah, this is where we see Taryn being harassed by the janitor. It cuts over to her.
Right.
And now we see Jennifer, right? She lights a cigarette and burns herself a little bit. And then a guy that looks just like William Dafoe, and I thought it was William Dafoe.
So did I at first. And then
I Googled it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, so it was this guy that was kind of rivaling Johnny Carson, and then later David Letterman took his like place, or it was Leno. It was one of the two. And no, it was Letterman took this guy's place, and he's interviewing Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh my God, Zsa Zsa, where have you been?
Yeah.
By the way, did you ever Google her when she was young?
No.
Dude, she's hot as fuck.
Yeah?
She was really hot. She just got ridiculous, and she was also one of those people that was an early adopter of, like, plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
But yeah, she was kind of like, I think she was even hotter than Liz Taylor. So,
ooh.
I mean, Liz Taylor in her day.
Yeah.
Purple eyes, man. There's something creepy about that. In a good way. So, then all of a sudden, this TV interviewer dude, he goes like, "It's prime time, bitch," and then like kills Zsa Zsa, and then she gets up to like investigate Jennifer, that is, and then that's when we get "It's Pride Time, bitch," where he comes out of the TV and arms come out of the television and just grab her and slams her head in. Did you know that line was ad-libbed?
Oh, really? Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a couple of like things he was going to say because, as we know, Freddy Kills always have something hilarious to him. He's kind of like the Arnold of slasher.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
He's always got something clever to say, right?
Well, because he was like the only slasher that actually talked.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. No, you're right. Until like, maybe if you count some of the family members of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but really Leatherface was the real guy.
Real thing. Yeah, yeah.
You know, except for like the hitchhiker, but it's different. So yeah, and it's fucking hilarious when he says it. This is arguably, a lot of people say this is their favorite kill ever. And it's because of It's Time for Prime Time, bitch, which is so good. So anyway, now Nancy and Gordon are having dinner at Nancy's place. So I don't know if this is a relationship or what, but they certainly are having dinner a lot.
They are, yeah.
We see them more like palling around than we actually do see them trying to solve any problems.
There's definitely a solid connection.
Yes. And anyway, and they're discussing whatever. She's like, I'm here for the kids and da-da-da. And then she finally convinces them that Hypnosil is like 100%. They're going with it.
Yeah.
And now we go back to our group therapy meeting, right? And Nancy opens up. And this is actually bad to do in the Freddy lore, is you're supposed to not have kids know his name. You know, because remember, if they stop believing in him, he'll go away.
Yeah.
But she scares the shit out of him, going, his name is Freddy. And you're the last children of Elm Street. You see, your parents murdered him. He was a child, rapist and murderer. And the parents, instead of going to the police, which is hilarious because Nancy's dad's a cop, they trapped him and threw Molotov cocktails and burned him alive.
Yeah.
So now the kids are really fucking flipped out, right? Now, this is a really cool scene. This is our group hypnotism.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and then we see the kids' kind of powers, right? So Will stands up and he's able to move. Now remember, he's wheelchair bound.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a great and powerful wizard and an illusionist, right? And then we see Cool Breeze is super strong. Mm-hmm. She's like a badass punker chick and she's really good with knives, right? And then Nancy just can straight up defy gravity Matrix style. Like she could run up walls and jump upside down.
No, that was Kieran.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Huh, what the... I swear Nancy was able to do something too.
What was she able to do?
I don't know. Maybe she just has the link to the other kids or something.
Something, yeah.
Maybe it's like a week of... I remember she does do some kind of cool dodge or something, though, in that movie later on.
Yeah.
But
the weird part about this scene is you see that the doctor is also in the
there.
dream world. He hypnotized himself.
Which you can do.
Group. You can do, but it was weird that he did that.
It's what don't you think you'd want someone on the outside just in case?
Yeah, right.
The other weird thing is this is the only time he goes into the dream world.
True, yeah.
And Freddy does attack him, but later on and not via dream.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see. Joey he's the only one not in the room. He's been pining over this nurse.
Who hasn't?
Right? So this blonde nurse, right? And you even see him in the beginning, like she drops some towels and he folds them up and gives them to her. And she's like, oh, thanks, Joey. So he's pining over this nurse, right? And then she gives him a look like, right? So Gordon is using those gravity balls, right? And then they start floating up. This is how we know they're dreaming.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so, and let's see. And then, Will grabs one and turns it into like a moth. And that's how we know he's got magical powers, right? And then, Kirsten does some Charlotte Flair shit. She's like jumping off the wall and lands perfectly, right? Conke just bends a steel chair, and titties. So Joey's about to screw the nurse.
Yeah.
And these are some fantastic pre-plastic surgery 1980s boobies. The teardrops, the ones we like. I don't understand that. I know two people that are under the age of 25 that I've worked with who've gotten either a boob or a lip job.
Okay.
Social media, you need to knock this shit off. You really do. They don't look real. And the whole duck lip thing is gross.
Oh, that's just awkward.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
You know when people go way overboard on that and you see them, you're like, ugh.
Very unattractive.
You look like that fish that cleans the tank in the aquarium.
That's my favorite one, actually.
It is? I like lionfishes. They just look so beautiful.
Those are cool, yeah.
Apparently they're super poisonous.
Yes.
And they're very hard to take care of because I always wanted one. And then I found out how much the upkeep was. And I'm like, nah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's a rich person's fish.
Yeah, I'll just watch National Geographic's like Blue
4K
Earth or something.
Animal
Yeah,
Planet,
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, but he, she pins him down to the bed and then Freddy turns into a boner killer because he uses his tongue to go like, which, by the way, I took note of this. He does in half the movies. He'll have his evil Freddy tongue come out.
Oh, yeah. That's like his signature thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't even include that in the Mortal Kombat, like when you could play as Freddy. How come you should have a tongue fatality? He does it, but anyway. And then he goes whoosh with his tongues and it wraps around all his limbs, like tying him to the bed.
Yeah.
And now we see that he's in the boiler room and there's like a pit of fire, like an opening to hell. And the only thing holding him there is Freddy's tongues.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, back at the AA meeting, the kids realize something is off, right? And they reach for the door, but it's like a weird lot shot and the door melts, with the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now other Dr. Kieran opens the door, freeing them. You know,
right.
The Miss Ratchet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that wakes him up. And of course, she shits a fit. I didn't write down exactly what she says, but she's none too happy.
No, yeah, she's like, this is totally unauthorized. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, she gets the, like, head person of, like, the hospital to come down.
Yeah, and they get fired on the spot, Nancy and Gordon. But they're not done. They're not going to give up on these kids.
They're warriors.
They're dream warriors. Okay, anyway. So Neil Gordon is packing up his shit, right? And then he drops like his stuff while loading in his car, and he sees like a picture of the kids, and it's like, you know, kind of like you see his commitment to them.
Right.
But then he sees a nun.
He does.
Yeah.
He sees her multiple times in the movie.
But this is the time where he actually, because you'll just see her like in the foreground, like during one of the funerals of the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
But here it's like we actually get to see him where they like make eye contact, right? Now he goes over and talks to the nun. She actually leads him up to like the top of this church.
Where basically the kid jumped from earlier.
Yeah. And she explains like the origin of Freddy. She says that Freddy's mother, Amanda Kruger, was raped by 100 asylum inmates.
That's just absolutely terrible.
Yes. So I was thinking, because I just thought it would be hilarious, like in my mind, because we just lost Springer, unfortunately. I was thinking how funny it would be if they did like a mock thing where Jerry Springer has like Freddy's like, meet your real dad. Even the paternity test came back. You know, and there would be 100 like killers in there. I don't know. For whatever reason,
God.
I just wrote that down when I was watching this. I'm like, that'd be hilarious. And
an extended episode of Maury.
Exactly. Oh yeah, it would be Maury. It totally would be. And then like you would have a chair fly out of nowhere. You know? Security would come. And now we see so Joey is in like the ICU.
Yeah.
And Nancy's not there, but Kirsten is. And then we see, and it says, "Come and get him, bitch." You know, it's carved out.
Carved on his chest, yeah.
Which is really cool. Now, this is what you were talking about earlier about when stuff happens in the dreamland, you could actually see it in the physical.
Right.
This is one of the coolest, I'm not going to say Easter eggs, but one of the coolest, like, Act 3 is beginning, kind of like, you know, segues, right? All right. So now Kirsten is being put in the quiet room.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she sees this and it's all bad, and she starts freaking out. Oh, shit. Now, uh-oh. So now, Nancy has...
Perfect song for Act 3. Here
right?
we go.
So Nancy has to confront, like, you know, the dad, her dad.
Her dad.
Yeah, and, you know, he's like a drunk, and, you know, and then Neil and her start to sweat the dad, you know. And Nancy gets, like, really upset because, like, her dad's just a drunk, you know. And then he gets a page, him being Dr. Gordon, right? And then he goes, it's the kids. So they call, and they're in trouble because they find out that Kirsten's in, like, the quiet room.
Yep.
So Nancy goes off to, like, go save them, right? And then Neil goes over to the dad, and he's like, I don't even know you. And he goes, hi, my name's Neil Gordon, fuckface. Now we know each other. You're going to tell me what I want to know, right?
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the... Wait for it. It's funny is when my wife came in, I was watching this, and it was during the credits, and I was just wrapping up, finishing writing down. She accidentally hit the PlayStation controller, and it went to 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
And this song becomes power metal. It's like, Dream Warriors!
Oh, that's cool.
It is. I was going to record it, but I want you all to do this at home. Because
just try it, guys.
Just try it. Go to the credits where they play the whole song and just put it 1.5 speed, and it's amazing. It sounds like a Rhapsody song or like Maiden.
That's dope.
It is cool. Because like normal speed, it sounds like the Scorpions. But
yeah, well, it sounds like Dokken.
Okay. I was obviously. Oh, you know, here it comes. All right. Oh shit, here it is. Okay, enough of that. It's a fucking excellent song, though. My friend who was a Freddy fanatic had this on a 45.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was like, that's awesome, dude. I wonder if he still has... He doesn't take care of his shit, so probably not. Anyway. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Nancy's going to the hospital, right? And then Max stops Nancy, and she's like, I can't let you in, you know?
Yeah.
And then she goes, well, can I just see the others? Because he goes, there's no way you're seeing Kirsten. We've already lost 2 kids. I'm not going to endanger them. Mm-hmm. Clearly, you have something to do with what's going on. And then so Nancy goes, well, can I at least say bye?
Yeah.
You know? So then Nancy busts in with the others, and they're like, Nancy, like, where have you been? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, dude, I got fired, duh. What the fuck's wrong with you? Plus, who uses a pager? I can't just fly over here. I had to find a quarter, you know? Like, the taxi was expensive. I mean, what? No, she doesn't do that, but she should. Because I'd be like, what, bitch? I'm over here now. God damn it. Why don't you help her out? You guys are the dream warriors, after all. Right? So now we see Nancy's dad. He's unlocking a gate to like an auto salvage thing, you know, and they're going to go look for Freddy's remains. But before he actually runs in and they go to like just a local Catholic church, and he takes Nancy's dad's bottle and dumps it out. He's got like a bottle of gin or some shit.
Yeah.
And he fills it full of holy water, and he grabs a crucifix. And the priest is like, yo, what's the deal, dude?
Yeah.
And he's like, I promise I'll give him back. Here's my driver's license. As collateral. Which, I mean, I've done that before, though. Like, if I've done this twice, actually, when I forgot, like, my card or whatever.
Okay.
You know, and then I'm like, oh, shit, here's my driver's license. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, well, obviously you're going to be back for that.
Right.
You know? So, anyway... Kirsten and Nancy and the others now, they arrive in the quiet room. They're like all in there together, you know, because they teleport via the hypnosis.
Right.
You know, and then they're in the quiet room and they're all happy to see each other, and you just see it get ripped to like smithereens and feathers are flying everywhere, you know, like from the padded room. And then they all kind of go in their separate ways. Like Freddy pulls them apart. Now, the first one is just a recap of what happened in the beginning, you know, with Kirsten working on the house.
Right.
You know, and fitting that the music went to it. Yeah. So then the mom comes home and she runs up and hugs the mom and she's like, oh my God, so happy to see you, you know. And she's like, what's this about? And she goes, oh, I just had a nightmare. And she's like, oh, Kirsten. And then we hear... where do you keep the bourbon? And then she's like, look, I have company. I'll be right back. And then you see Freddy go, I said, where's the fucking bourbon, bitch? And then he decapitates her mom and then holds the head. And she's like, you've ruined every relationship I've ever had. You keep fucking around and I'm just trying to get laid here. And everything. It's like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty cool scene.
It was, very unexpected.
Exactly. So Kirsten breaks through the window and she enters Nancy's house, right? Now, meanwhile, we see the feathers fall, you know, like to introduce like someone else's dream. And now we get the reason why this was banned in Australia. So Tyrion, she pulls out her switchblades. She's like, let's dance, motherfucker. And her and Freddy are just getting off from like some melee combat, if you will.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It is. Freddy gets stabbed, and it doesn't really faze him because he's getting more and more powerful, I guess, with each kid he kills. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, come on, let's party. And then his hands become syringes filled with like heroin. And you see like her scars where she used to shoot up are like me, like their little lips, like they're hungry.
Yeah, it's super creepy.
It is creepy. This is definitely the creepiest of all kills. It's not my favorite in this movie, but it is the most like, ugh.
I did really like the like needle fingers. I thought that was freaking awesome.
I did too, especially when he shoots her up. It looks like he's coming. He's like, oh yeah.
He totally like rolls back his eyes. I was like, oh dude.
Definitely the creepiest one. Now,
yeah,
this is like, she's one of the ones I wish would have survived. Mm-hmm. You know, like maybe come back at the end or something. But
right.
No. So this is 3 down now, right? So now Will enters, right? And we see his feathers fall, and he's just like standing there, and Freddy's like, you know, you see this evil chair. So Freddy's on one side, and then you see his wheelchair, but his wheelchair's got like a razor blade. It looks like an Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, have a seat, you know, that kind of shit. And then Freddy comes up to him and he goes, I am the dream wizard. I am the dream wizard. And then all of a sudden he gets like a cape and he shoots a lightning ball spell. Now, here's what I want you to do.
Uh-oh. What are we doing?
Hold on, let me get my dice.
Oh, you got to get your dice.
Okay. I want you to roll for initiative. Okay, you got a 19. You're playing Freddy, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to play Will. All right, let me see one. 23. Okay, so
23.
so I'm going to shoot lightning on the chair, destroying it.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Now your turn is Freddy. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna come at you and try and slash you.
All right, let's roll for it. Will defends with his lightning powers, but it doesn't do much.
It just stuns me.
It just stuns you for a minute.
Out. Yeah.
It looks like you're going to go for the kill then?
I am going to go for the kill.
All right. Damn. All right, you killed Will. I ad-libbed that shit. I did not plan it, I promise.
That was awesome.
Thank you. So Will dies. Sucks, you know. Doesn't work on Freddy, and Freddy just like, I think he impales him, right?
He stabs him with his blades through the chest.
Yeah, exactly. And this, when I was a kid, was my favorite part because I was like, well, at least he had a fighting chance.
Yeah, okay.
You know, we got to see how powerful he is because those lightning powers are probably more devastating. Well, I mean, I rolled an 18 like on damage, so, you know. Anyway, so let's see. Now Kincaid joins up with the other survivors.
Right.
And he's like taunting Freddy. He's like, come on, you bitch. I'll fucking fuck you up. You know, that kind of shit. I
love when he rejoins, he like smashes through a wall.
Yeah, he's like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a red shirt too. So, and then so Nancy, Kirsten, and Kincaid, they're all together, right? So they're going to go down to the boiler room to confront Freddy, right? So, let's say, meanwhile, we see Gordon, he's and Nancy's dad, he points at this Cadillac that clearly is different from all the other cars because it's like beaming red.
Right.
And he says no one would ever find him in there. And it's like, bitch, it's glowing red compared to all the other vehicles. And he goes, you know, it's in the caddy. So, anyway, he looks in, he uses his shovel to pry open the trunk, and you see Nancy's dad try to book, and he goes, and then you see him have the keys.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're gonna have ourselves a long overdue funeral, and he goes, I said I'd show it to you, but I didn't say I was gonna help. And he goes, no, this is happening, dude.
Yeah.
So then when they go into it, right, they're in this like they go to the boil room, and you see Joey tied up, and she goes, let him go, you know, and he goes, fine, bitch. And then you see each one of the restraints kind of go down one after another,
right?
You know, and then she stops him. She impales him with some like rebar. They kind of get into it, and then but he says like, you know, it doesn't faze him because he pulls up his shirt and he goes, the souls of the children give me power, and there's room for one more.
Dude, it's super creepy because it's like all the children's faces.
Yeah, and they're all like howling on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part was pretty cool. So then finally they save Joey kind of, and they run to in this. You know, they actually, wait a minute. No, Joey dies, isn't it? Because they save him, they stop him, and then they go to the mirror room.
They go to the mirror room.
Yeah, and then let's see. Oh, and then Joey shout like he that's his ability. He's like a banshee, and it cracks them all, right? And then Nancy reunites with her dad because they think they got him somehow or some way. Nope. So Nancy dies. Now she gets like stabbed. And then, but while this is going on, you see Gordon, he's digging in the grave and he has Freddy's remains.
Yeah.
You know? And then he starts to like throw the dirt on it, and Freddy's remains, this is the effect that was cool looking, but not now.
Right.
All like the junkyard, all the lights light up and all the vehicles. And Freddy is like Jason of the Argonaut skeletons.
Right.
You know? And then he fights him, and it's, you know, it's okay, but it's really slapstick looking.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
for its time, it was amazing.
For its time, it was pretty good.
It's a lot better than if they did CGI or something.
Oh, 100%. Way better.
Yeah, because this would have been in the day of very early CGI, and it wouldn't have been that good.
No, that would have been just absolutely terrible.
I mean, you saw the computer in the day, like, and you saw the Google earlier on in this episode. It was terrible. So, meanwhile, everything else is going down in Freddy's dream. It looks like Nancy's fucked. And then all of a sudden you see like Freddy like get these holes in him, like this glowing light. This like is just going through him, because when we cut back to the real world, we see that Gordon is pouring the holy water over
he's splashing it. When he splashes it,
it burns him.
It burns it, and so it's kind of a cool effect, because wherever it splashed, it cuts back to the dream.
Exactly.
And he's got these like holes in him, these white light holes where the water splashed.
Yeah. So, and then it looks like that kills him. You know, remember, this was supposed to be the last one, according to Craven. So that's why we actually cut after, like, everyone's safe. Well, minus Nancy, because we find out we cut to her funeral afterward.
Right.
You know, and at the funeral, this is like a sad farewell to Nancy. We see the dad there. He looks sober, so maybe this got him off the booze. All the kids are there, but it's still a somber moment. And then we see the nun again, and Gordon kind of is like, what? And then she leads him over, like she goes past like this giant headstone.
Like behind, like a mausoleum sort of thing.
Yeah. And then we see that it's Amanda Kruger.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it was you. Because it says Sister Amanda Kruger.
Right.
And that's how we know that she was actually the one. And she was trying to, absolve herself.
Right.
Like she had to walk on this earth in limbo till Freddy died or something. Well, I don't know. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's the vibe they gave you, is like, like she was a restless spirit that needed to like essentially kill her own son in order to like move on.
And, the thing is that this movie is a, she was a nun, so it does make sense that she tried to, get, absolution.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a cool movie. I really liked it. It's rewatchable, easy.
Very much so, yeah.
It's not like one of those hard watches where you can only, like, for instance, I might get bored and be like, hey, Nicole, you never seen this movie. You want to watch this movie? And she'll go, yeah, it's cool. I think that's all I got on it. Is there anything else you want to add to Dream Warriors?
I would just want to touch on the effects, like its practical effects. They're done really, really well.
Yes.
In this movie. And that's something I got to give up to a lot of the Freddy movies, is they did a lot of practical effects and they did them really well. So
put my dice away.
The scene settings and then the makeup and everything.
The house alone is really cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of attention to detail on there. So yes, it is kind of like a not cheesy, but it's 80s horror.
Yeah.
But they did it really, really well with these series.
Now that you mentioned that, there's something that actually makes the set, I didn't even think of this till you brought it up. Something that makes the set so good is this movie is so bleak. Everything is just in white rooms in a hospital.
Right.
Unless they're in Freddy's world or the dream world. And then you get a lot of colors. You get a lot of gothic imagery.
It's very gothic. It's very dark.
A lot of reds, a lot of blues.
A lot of reds, a lot of blues. It's everything. It's kind of like low light sort of thing, which I really like, and I kind of wish they would bring back to horror movies. Like a lot of the horror movies, everything's shot in like 4K and everything looks really clean. And it's like, we need this like visual disconnect.
Gritty.
Yeah, we need gritty.
Yeah, because that house looks dirty, even though it's colorful. Like there's red carpets, and some of the in the mirror room, that room is super like Resident Evil, like puzzle room looking, where it's got like that Victorian kind of wallpaper on it. And even the boiler room is really cool in this.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the entryway to hell, like literally. So
it really does. Yeah.
So like that. The effects are great. The music is fantastic.
Very much so.
Of course, Robert Englund is great. He's so fucking charismatic.
He's fantastic.
The only thing I will say that hurts this movie is some of the straight talk people. Like those scenes could be a little better.
Some of the lines are like, all right.
Yeah. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, and also to that's really the only problems I have with it, is just that. And my choice of who died and who lived could have been different, but you know what? It's a movie.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen more of the puppeteer stuff. I think
that would have been kind of cool.
That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, great movie.
Very much so, yeah.
So if you're going to see a Freddy movie and you want to jump in the genre, or if you haven't seen him in a while, I recommend start with this.
Yeah.
And then see number 1, and then after that, you're on your own, buddy.
Yeah.
Or if you want to watch them, the order they were suggested would be 1, 3, and 7. So.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, yeah, I think from all of us here at the Knife Party Podcast, I would like to say, be kind and rewind.
Oh, we got to return those videotapes, right?
We do. All right. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, patreon.com/knifepartypod for only $1. You can join the party.